Alvin Toffler said the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who can't read and write. It will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. What a profound and prophetic statement. You know, in the 20th century, literacy was a gatekeeper to opportunity. If you couldn't read or write, your access to education, to jobs, and self-determination was severely limited. But in the 21st century, information is everywhere. Anyone with a smartphone has access to more knowledge than entire generations before us. Meaning, the problem is no longer access, it's adaptability. Learn, unlearn, relearn. In learning, you pick up a new knowledge or skill. Go to school, get a degree, get a job, done. This used to be enough, but not anymore. Now let's go to unlearning, which is the most difficult aspect of this entire process because it requires humility. This is the part where you let go of outdated frameworks, ideas, or behaviors that once worked but are no longer serving you. This is the point where you admit to yourself that what got you here may not get you there. And this is where most of humanity is stuck. Clinging to nostalgia in this day and age can become a liability. Now let's go to relearning. It involves returning to foundational ideas with new perspective, or update your knowledge as the world evolves. We are currently going through one of the greatest disruptions of all time. It will be foolish and irresponsible to assume that the world stays the same after this. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine a software on a phone. Learning is downloading a new app. Unlearning is deleting outdated versions that slow down the system. Relearning is updating the app to function in a new environment. If you don't update, your knowledge will have bugs and eventually it'll crash. In a world flooded with knowledge, your true power is speed of understanding. The faster you learn, the longer you stay relevant. What blinds you is not your ignorance, it's your attachment to what you already know. And the cost of not unlearning is often paid in irrelevance. Adaptability is the new IQ. If you are not learning, you are lagging. If you are not unlearning, you are outdated. If you are not relearning, you are in denial. When the world moves on, your mastery of the past can become a trait. Stay curious. So in a conversation I was in, somebody said, "I've done everything. What more can I do?" And someone else replied, "Whatever it is that you are not doing." At first, it sounds like mockery, but sit with it long enough and it starts to sound like prophecy. Because what if the next chapter of your life requires something you never practiced, never imagined, never been desperate enough to try? I found out that "I've done everything" is rarely about completion. It is about exhaustion. And exhaustion is not always the end of effort. Sometimes it's just the end of perspective. There's a trap in saying, "I've done all I can." The trap is finality. It shuts down curiosity. But the human spirit was not made for walls. It was made for doors that look like walls until you learn how to knock. Finality is a feeling, not a fact. When you feel you are at the end, look again. What you call done may just be a loop. You are repeating the same actions with slightly different flavors, but you are expecting a radically different outcome. Growth doesn't always come from pushing harder. Sometimes it comes from looking wider, from asking new questions, from confronting what you've avoided. So when that guy said, "Whatever it is that you're not doing," maybe he was saying there's more in you, but it's hiding either in parts that you've neglected or parts you're too scared to explore. You have not done everything. You've just done everything your current self is willing to do. But there's a version of you that's not afraid to look foolish, not afraid to start over, not afraid to knock on new doors, even if they open to unfamiliar roads. When you are out of moves, you are not out of possibilities. You've just been invited to evolve. So what more can you do? You already know. It's the thing you've been avoiding. And maybe that's the thing that unlocks everything. It reminds me of Peter saying, "Master, we have toiled all night, but we caught nothing." Peter says, "We've done everything. What more can we do?" Jesus says, "Do the thing you haven't done yet, but do it with my word." Look, there's always a way out. This video is for me as much as it is for you. There's always a way out.